অলরেডি আমরা একটা পোয়েম ক্লাস 12 পড়িয়ে দিয়েছি। আজকে একটা প্রোজ করাবো, দ্য আইস হ্যাবিট বাই রাস্কিন বন্ড। In this story, Ruskin Bond has portrayed how a boy narrator who encountered a girl in a train compartment, and since both are blind, the boy narrator, he was trying to hide his own blindness from the girl, and the girl was also playing the same trick with the boy narrator. And how ultimately the boy narrator came to know that the girl was blind, and how his all dream, all rosy picture regarding that he formed regarding the girl, that rosy picture had broken into pieces. That has been described here by Ruskin Bond. See, I had the tin compartment to myself up to Rohana. Then a girl got in. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort, and the woman gave the girl detailed instruction as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the windows, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. So the narrator was alone up to the Rohana station. Then the girl got into the train compartment. There, and the couple means couple who saw her off were probably her parents. The couple, maybe the parents of the girl, they were quite anxious. It is quite natural, the because a blind girl was journeying by train, so the parents would be quite concerned about the welfare of the girl. That's why they gave detailed instruction to the girl about where to keep her things, not to look out of the window, and avoid speaking to the strangers. All these instructions were given. They called their goodbyes, and the train pulled out of the station. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, I was unable to tell what the girl looked like. But I know she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. They called their goodbyes, and the train just started going out of the station. As I was totally blind at the time, so it is mentioned here very prominently that the boy narrator was blind. My eyes sensitive only to light and darkness. So my world is limited by these two items, light and darkness. So I'm not physically, I'm quite handicapped because I cannot see what is in front of me, but my mind's eyes are quite open. So I'm conjecturing, I'm just trying to frame a kind of picture about everything. So in mind's eye, the boy narrator can see everything. I was unable to tell what the girl looked like because physically I'm blind. That's why I can't say how she does look. But I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. But I can hear the sound of the slippers. Since the slippers, it slapped against the heel, that's why I can hear it. Remember that since the boy narrator, he is blind from eyesight, he is blind, that's why his other organs are quite strong enough. As for example, the auditory organ, he could hear the sound of the sleepers. Or generally, we do not pay any attention to the sound of the sleepers, but here, since the boy narrator was blind, that's why he paid attention to the sound of the sleepers, and he identified that the girl wore slippers. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would. So the boy is quite tricky, and he is also that he wants to get acquainted with the girl. That's why he said that he it would take some time for him to discover how the girl looks like. So in order to know the look of the girl, he needs some time. Perhaps he may be failed in his enterprise. He may not be able to find out how the girl look like because he is blind. But I like the sound of her voice, and even the sound of her sleepers, the sound of her voice and the sound of her sleepers. So the sound of her voice really creates a kind of sensation in the boy narrator. But the sound of sleepers, that's why it is called anticlimax, because voice, it has a kind of influence on the boy narrator. But the sleepers, it is not quite, it is petty thing, very ordinary thing. Sound is another. So there is a fall from the elevated idea to a very commonplace idea, to a very ordinary, trivial, very minor kind of idea. That's why it is called anticlimax. It is a fall from the sound of the girl, and it just descend from there to a very ordinary thing, like the sound of her sleepers. As for example, there's another example. If I say that in the last word, I have lost my father, mother, and a dog. So this is called anticlimax, because father and mother, they belong to another level, and the dog is another level. Are you going all the way to there? I asked. I asked the girl if she was going all the way to there. So in this way, the conversation starts. So the boy narrator, he is eager to get acquainted with the girl. That's why he starts conversation. I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, I didn't know anyone else was here. I must have been sitting in a dark corner. So the narrator was, he says that perhaps he was sitting in a dark corner because otherwise anybody could see that there is a passenger in the compartment. Because his voice startled the girl as he asked the question to the girl if she was going all the way to Dera. So this question, this voice of the voice of the boy narrator made the girl startled. She gave a little exclamation. She was surprised and said, I didn't know anyone else was here. He had no idea that there was anybody in the compartment. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. So it is another thing that the narrator points out here, that people having good eyesight, they fail to see what is right in front of them because they try to visualize everything, whatever is there in front of them. They try to see everything. That's why they miss the very little, very minute thing. Okay, it's quite common phenomena because whenever we go by the road, that time so many things happen before our eyes, but we cannot just remember everything in detail. They have too much to take in, I suppose. As people having good eyesight, they try to take everything. That's why not particular but not a very particular thing, a single thing put a great impression on the mind, whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining senses. But people having handicaps, if they have some kind of deformity, as for the boy narrator, he cannot see. That's why his other organs are quite strong enough, as for example auditory organ. That's why people who cannot see or see very little have to take in only the essentials. So people who do not have the visual power, they use all other organs to have the identity of a particular thing. So here the girl was putting she's putting on slippers. That sound of the slippers really makes a kind of impression in the mind of the boy narrator. So people having some kind of deformity, some kind of handicaps, they have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on the remaining senses. Remaining senses means the other senses that are active. So whatever register means the whatever is other organs are quite active. By those organs he tried to identify all those things, and those things that he identifies by the other organs, those things remain in the mind of the person. I didn't see you either, I said, but I heard you coming. The narrator said that I did not see you either. I have not seen you, but I heard you coming. So remember that auditory organ. Again, the hearing organ is active enough. So the boy narrator, since he is blind, we know that, we the readers, we know that he is blind. That's why he cannot see. But he hears that the girl gets in the compartment. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind. So here is the game. He is just thinking that he must play a game. What kind of game? Hide and seek game. He wants to hide his own blindness from the girl. What is the reason? Because it is quite natural that every male figure, every boy, every man, he tries to be brave before a girl. He doesn't like to divulge, right? Doesn't like to expose his own deformity before a girl. So civility is a very noble feature that is associated with every kind of person, every kind of man especially. And a man or a boy wants to be brave before a girl. Here also he feels that if the girl finds out that he is blind, perhaps she may not like to get acquainted with the boy. Provided I keep to my seat, I thought it should not be too difficult. The boy narrator thinks that if he just remains in his seat, then it would not be much difficult to hide his own blindness from the girl. The girl said, I'm getting up at Saranpur. My aunt is meeting me there. He says her destination is Saranpur, and there the aunt will be receiving her. Then I had better not get too familiar. This is humorous. Humor is added here. Then I should not get acquainted with you because aunts are usually formidable creatures, because aunts are quite difficult to please. The aunts are not very easily pleased. That's why they are quite formidable. They are very strict. They are very disciplined. That's why I should not get acquainted with you. where are you going, she asked. To Dera and then to Mussoorie. She asked me where I'm going, so I said that I'm going to Dera and then to Mussoorie. এখানে থাক, আজকে বাকিটা পরে করে